Hello, hello. It's me, Kitty again, and welcome back. Thank you for coming back. We are now in chapter 4 of Ruths Ready. And this chapter is not long at all. So I won't be out here long at all. And I want to apologize in advance if you hear any kind of noise in the background because my neighbor's out there doing something. I'm not sure what it is. He's got some kind of machine running. And so hopefully you can't hear it. I know I can hear it, but I'm hoping that you can't hear it. So here we are, chapter 4. And then we have 4 more because this book only has 8 chapters. But it says, what does Ruth represent for you? And so in chapter 3, we discussed some of the character qualities that Boaz had. And so now I'm going to pull out some qualities that Ruth had. Okay, so let's do that right now. So the first one is Ruth was loyal. And she wasn't, I'm not talking about loyal to Boaz right now. I'm talking about she was loyal to Naomi, right? And that loyalty carries over into other relationships. When you're loyal in one area, you're definitely going to be loyal in other areas, okay? Because that's just a quality that you have. She was faithful in keeping her commitment. And so that's what you have to ask yourself. Am I faithful in keeping my commitment? The commitment that you made to your spouse or the commitment that you're making to your partner, okay? And I'm going to say that because even when you're dating someone, you have to show commitment to them in order to get to the next level. Like, you don't show commitment once you get married, okay? And so if you can show commitment in the beginning, then most times it's going to carry over, okay? And then Royal, who is Royal? Ruth was willing to be supportive. She was willing to be supportive with her mother-in-law, Naomi, okay? And so that, once again, carries over to other areas. Because if she can be supportive to her, especially during the time when her husband died, and then her son died, which was Ruth's husband, and then they went back to Moab and they didn't have anything, but she was still supportive, right? And so this is something, there will be times when you will have to be supportive to your husband, even when it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you. Okay, so Ruth was loyal and Ruth was supportive. And then it says Ruth didn't complain about her situation. If she did, it doesn't mention it in the Bible. Okay, there is no evidence that she complained about her situation. Okay, she could have complained that she followed Naomi and there were no provisions, because there weren't any provisions when Naomi decided to go back to Moab. Okay, and then we have that Ruth heeded to the guidance that she received, because what was happening was Naomi was giving her some guidance, giving her some instructions, right? Great reward comes when we listen to the guidance provided to us from the people that we can trust, the people, like if we go back to the mentor, okay? If we go back, you think about if you get guidance from your pastor, or if you get guidance from different people that you look up to, okay? There's a great reward in that, okay? She listened to Naomi, and she listened to Boaz as they gave her instruction. He gave her instruction when she was out in the field, and she followed those instructions, and there was a great reward in that, okay? Ruth separated herself. Now, you know that's a good one, separating yourself. The Bible tells us that she was from a pagan background, but she had no desire to return there, although it was easier. It would have been so much easier for her to go back there, right? But she separated herself from that. And, you know, a lot of times we have to separate ourselves from some people that we know mean us no good, that we know are negative, that we know just they don't have our best interest at heart. And sometimes it's hard to separate from them because sometimes they can be family. But we have to do it for our own sake, okay? And so she separated herself. And then the next one is that Ruth did not compromise. She did not compromise. Ruth showed herself as a dedicated woman. She didn't settle for what others might have been persuading her to do. Okay, and you already know when you're doing something different, other people criticize and want to influence you to do things like everyone else. You don't have to do things like everyone else. If the Lord is telling you or giving you a vision about something and other people don't agree, that is perfectly fine. If the Lord is downloading some things in you and you've never saw it done, but then somebody else criticizes it and say, you can't do anything like that. You can look, don't listen to them. If God gave you the instructions, do it. And sometimes your mate might reveal some things to you, right? And hey, they hear from the Lord too. Hopefully they hear from the Lord. And hopefully it's something that's going to benefit you, okay? Where you don't have to compromise who you are in the process. And then it says Ruth wasn't afraid of the challenges that was before her, okay? You have to be willing to try something new, okay? Like Jabez said, enlarge my territory. Enlarge my territory. And many of us have prayed that prayer before. Enlarge my territory. But when your territory gets enlarged, guess what? Challenges are gonna come before you. And how are you gonna handle those challenges that come before you? Okay. So when you say, Lord, enlarge my territory, what you're saying is to expand my thoughts. That's what you're saying to him. You're saying to expand my thoughts, okay? And so, especially in marriage, a lot of times we have to expand our thoughts, okay? And we have to have the capacity to do the things once the mind is expanded, okay? Because your marriage isn't always going to be like this. You want your marriage to go to greater heights and greater levels, and you can't do that doing the same thing over and over again. Look, when we got married in 2002, my needs are completely different in 2020, okay? So I had to expand my thoughts, and then I had to have the capacity to do the things that I was asking God to do, okay? And then Ruth got busy. Ruth got busy. She wasn't just sitting around like, what's next? No, Ruth got busy. She did not sit at home waiting for something to happen. So the question that I have for you is, are you being about your Father's business? Whatever it is. Whatever it is. How are you contributing to the marriage? Okay. And let's see here. Yeah, and that's about it. Now, I personally don't believe that God has this one specific person for you. And I think I mentioned that in the very beginning when I was doing chapter 1. But like I said, that is just my opinion. I'm not going to say my opinion. That's my belief, because that's something that I really believe, because it's not nowhere in the Bible. It's, nowhere in the Bible. Boaz didn't have Ruth's name stamped on him. Actually, there was somebody before him that was able to redeem her as a kinsman redeemer. Okay, there was somebody before her. Okay, and so if he would have said, you know what, I want to do this thing, then he would have been the one. We would have been talking about Ruth and somebody else, and not Ruth and Boaz, okay? And so we have the opportunity to choose who we are going to love. And as long as we keep God in the center of that relationship, as long as we keep him intertwined in that relationship, then he's going to bless that thing. But hey, if you believe the Lord has a specific person for you, hey, run with it. No judgment here, okay? So don't judge me for my beliefs. So once again, like I say, at the end of every chapter, I have thought-provoking questions. I have activities. And so take advantage of that when you get the book. Write in it. This is yours, because I promise you, you are not going to want to lend it out to a friend. Okay. And so that is it for chapter 4. Thank you for taking the time to listen, to come and join me again today. I continue to pray for you all. I pray that as you ask God for the things that you desire, that you once again expand your thoughts, that you have the capacity, allow God to use you in such a way that you don't even recognize yourself. Okay, thank you. I love you guys, and I'll see you later for chapter 5.